It's Worldwide Wiggins, man, here on S.WigginsTV. You ain't been to the LA County Jail if you ain't never been locked up with an East Coast crib. That's just what it is. Oh, slow down, let me bring it back. You ain't never been to the county in LA if you ain't been locked up with an East Coast crib. I started my channel talking about how I was locked up with East Coast cribs. I mean, they just dig. That's just it. That's the reality. So today we gonna do the 5 East Coast crib sets that people forget to mention. We gonna cover some that you probably never even heard of. Those was out before? Oh damn, I ain't know. You know, I'm not gonna do all the forgotten, you feel me, all of the ECs, so make sure you remember that. I'm not doing all of them. I am not doing all the forgotten ones, so I'm only doing 5 of them, so keep that in mind. So you know how we do. We gonna run through the ones we already know, then I'm gonna hit you with the 5 quick history lesson. Okay, the first street, East Coast. Shouts out to Quan, but I gotta correct some things. East Coast is in the valley, man. They over there in Hanson Hills, okay? And they been there since the 80s, actually, all right? Originally, they used to be in Aliso Village, you know, before they got torn down. And they even got a little section in the 40s. They got a lot of few different little spots, man. Just keep that in mind. Shouts out to the First Street East Coast, man. Fine 9 East Coast over there across Hooper. Okay, they definitely still active. All right, 6 Deuce East Coast. All right, part of the 6-pack, the 6 Deuce, the 6-6, the 6-8, the 6-9. All part of the 6-pack. Okay. They all over here across Avalon. Like Syke told you, okay, his top ops, they would slide. The 7-6 East Coast, down the street. 8-9 East Coast. Next door, damn near. The 9-7 East Coast, cross Avalon on Colden Avenue. The Q102s, cross Century. All right, let's move on over to the Carson area. The 190 East Coast. All right. They don't really say Carson like that, to my knowledge. They be like Delamo. All right, so when I know Delamo East Coast block cribs. Yeah. Now let's move on over to Riverside. You got the 1200 East Coast. They've been there for a long time. It's not a new hood. All right, they been getting to it with the Casablancas and all that. All right, these are the main, you feel me, known East Coast as far as when you ask the average LA and the East Coast sets that they know about. These are the main ones, okay? So now we gonna hit the ones that you forget to mention that or it probably ain't heard about. All right, did you know it used to be a 120 East Coast? Hey, before I start, a lot of these is wobblers, okay? I'm gonna let you know a lot of these is wobblers. Okay, some of them never really got that official startup, and you know, I need help. You know, this is all for education purpose. We all here to learn. Okay, so the 120 East Coast. Back in the day, they used to have a little clique called Track Boys. All right, they was located over here in the 1180 East Coast hood, across the train tracks on Imperial. All right, and they later developed into the 120 East Coast. And then they later tried to make a startup of the 120 East Coast cribs. Okay, I heard this from more than one person, okay, from back in the day. All right, like I said, it probably never became an official East Coast because I heard they later all just end up turning 11 East Coast. So that's what happened. All right, 2400 East Coast. The 2400 East Coast cribs is located in Stockton, California, which is up north, unlike LA, SoCal, where the cribs itself was formed. Period. It's a channel that was talking about where I got the video and they got the flick of them. It's pretty dope. You should check it out. All right, 1500 Perris East Coast. All right, shouts out to the Perris neighborhood cribs. I'll be here. It's a 1500 East Coast crib that started in the area of the Perris neighborhood. All right, and some of the homies from 1200, they say, allegedly, you can help me with that, came through and kind of gave them they start up. I don't know. They saying the whole Perris neighborhood ain't really with the pushing East Coast thing, so it kind of split the hood, and then I'm hearing it's only a portion of them, you know, that's pushing the East Coast thing. They got a street, Redlands, pushing 1500 East Coast. All right, so let me know, but I definitely heard about that. All right, now this one is a wobbler. This is controversial right here. You got the Pomona East Coast Crips. So this is a wobbler. They saying in the 80s, it was the EC hood in Pomona. Well, where things, you know, kind of getting mixed up, people saying it's 200 East Coast Crip or 200 Pomona East Coast Crip, you know, because when I hollered at a couple partners from Pomona, they saying it was another hood called San Dimas, pushing 200 block. And the East Coast Crips in Pomona was just Pomona East Coast, and they was just cool like that. But they verified the Pomona East Coast was really out there in the 80s, which was cracking. Definitely a wobbler, let me know. All right, we gonna take them home with this last one, number 5. Sons of Samoa, East Coast Crip. Boy. I've been hearing about this hood for decades. I need to get y'all on the show, bro. I've been hearing about Sons of Samoa, East Coast for years, bro. I'm looking to do an interview with them. I heard they was raptable, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if they was in LA, you know, and I mean that with no disrespect. We all here to learn, but I've been hearing for a minute now. It's been since Sons of Samoa, East Coast Crip. All right, somebody come over here and verify, okay? So let's get the discussion going. Fortunately, I ain't got no flicks of them or none of that hit-ups, but somebody gonna verify. You just wait. And look at the comments. But that's gonna be it, man. Something light for today, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep it locked in. It's Worldwide Wiggins, man. Shouts out to all my bastards, man. First Street on up to everybody, man. I'm gone. Wiggins.